Welcome to our exploration of a popular supplement stack that blends a familiar stimulant with an amino acid from tea. In this presentation, we will discuss whether pairing caffeine with L-theanine genuinely enhances your focus and workout performance, or whether it simply sounds good on a label. Many productivity enthusiasts and gym communities believe the combination offers heightened concentration with fewer jitters, but the science is still emerging. We will break down how each compound works on its own, what happens when they are taken together, and what you should know before adding this duo to your routine. The idea of a calm focus stack has caught fire among athletes, office workers, and students. This section introduces the basic question: does adding an amino acid from tea truly refine the effects of caffeine? We will explore how this concept took off in productivity circles and fitness forums, and we will set up the investigation into whether this pairing sharpens mental clarity or simply dilutes the stimulating buzz you expect from caffeine. By framing the issue, you will be better prepared to interpret the evidence we review later. Caffeine is a well-established stimulant that enhances alertness and reduces fatigue. L-theanine is celebrated for promoting relaxation and calm focus without sedation. At first glance, it seems logical that combining them would yield the best of both worlds, the energy boost of caffeine with the smooth, balanced mindset attributed to tea. But is stacking these two substances truly a clever way to stay dialed in? Or is it largely marketing hype? In this section, we will outline the claims and the skepticism surrounding this popular combination. Caffeine works primarily by blocking adenosine receptors in the brain. Adenosine normally binds to these receptors to signal that the body is tired, encouraging rest and sleepiness. By antagonizing the A1 and A2A receptors, caffeine reduces drowsiness and stimulates the release of other neurotransmitters like dopamine and norepinephrine. As a result, alertness, reaction time, and focus improve even though cerebral blood flow may decrease slightly. This rapid central action explains the unmistakable kick that caffeine delivers and why it is such a versatile performance enhancer across many types of physical and mental tasks. At appropriate doses, caffeine has been shown to enhance endurance performance, strength endurance, and power output. Most research supports an intake around 2 to 6 milligrams per kilogram of body mass for these benefits. It also improves mood, vigilance, and lowers the perception of effort in both aerobic and anaerobic activities. However, increasing the dose above this range does not guarantee extra gains and often heightens unwanted effects like jitters, anxiety, and gastrointestinal discomfort. Recognizing the limits of caffeine's benefits helps you tailor your intake to your specific needs without overdoing it. Although caffeine is widely consumed, it can cause side effects when used in excess. High amounts may lead to jitters, anxiety, nausea, and an elevated heart rate. Because caffeine has a half-life of roughly 3 to 6 hours, it remains in your system for much of the day. Consuming large amounts in the afternoon or evening can therefore disrupt sleep and hinder recovery. To minimize these issues, use the lowest effective dose, avoid stacking multiple high caffeine products, and give your body time to metabolize the stimulant before bedtime. L-theanine is a non-protein amino acid found predominantly in tea leaves. Unlike caffeine, it is not a stimulant and does not inherently speed up brain activity. However, L-theanine can cross the blood-brain barrier and is associated with increased alpha wave activity in the brain, a pattern linked to relaxation and calm alertness. People often describe the feeling as being awake but without the nervous energy that caffeine sometimes induces. Because it is naturally present in tea, the combination of caffeine and L-theanine occurs in beverages like green and black tea, albeit at lower doses than those used in supplements. When researchers have studied L-theanine on its own, the results have been mixed. Some trials report little to no cognitive benefit or even slower reaction times. However, doses around 200 to 250 milligrams have been associated with reduced stress responses, lowered anxiety, and increased alpha wave activity. These findings suggest that L-theanine may be more effective as a calming agent than as a performance enhancer. Because of its relaxation properties, it is marketed for its ability to promote calmness, rather than to directly enhance cognitive performance. Many people experience a fast surge of energy and alertness from caffeine, but they also notice side effects such as jitteriness, anxiety, or a sudden crash. L-theanine may moderate some of these effects by promoting a smoother sense of focus and modulating the way caffeine affects blood vessels and neural activity. Those who stack the two aim to combine the quick kick provided by caffeine with the relaxed focus associated with tea for sustained attention and productivity. This section explains the rationale behind the stack before we delve into the research. Some studies exploring the combination of caffeine and L-theanine have yielded promising results. Trials have reported that the duo can reduce mind wandering and help participants maintain attention better than either compound alone. Higher doses of L-theanine, around 200 milligrams, combined with caffeine have produced additive effects on selective attention and vigilance. In tasks that require sustained attention, the combination has sometimes led to fewer errors when compared with placebo, suggesting improved mental endurance. These positive findings have fueled interest in the Calm Focus stack. Not all research paints a rosy picture. Some studies show that certain ratios of caffeine and L-theanine can actually diminish some of caffeine's benefits. For example, when 75 milligrams of caffeine were combined with 50 milligrams of L-theanine, the addition of L-theanine reduced caffeine's vasoconstrictive and behavioral effects. Other trials demonstrate little to no cognitive benefit from L-theanine alone, and in some cases reaction time slowed. These mixed results suggest that synergy depends on the specific dose and ratio, the habitual caffeine intake of participants, and the type of cognitive task being measured. The research into caffeine and L-theanine combinations is nuanced. Some blends with around 97 milligrams of L-theanine and 40 milligrams of caffeine improve focus during mentally challenging tasks. Higher ratio blends, such as 250 milligrams of L-theanine with 150 milligrams of caffeine, have been reported to enhance speed, semantic memory, and alertness. Conversely, lower ratio blends like 75 milligrams of caffeine with 50 milligrams of L-theanine have reduced some of caffeine's positive cognitive effects and limited the vasoconstrictive response. This variability underscores the importance of dosage and context when assessing the efficacy of the stack. Caffeine tends to constrict blood vessels and reduce cerebral blood flow, yet it still improves reaction time and alertness. L-theanine appears to attenuate some of caffeine's effects on blood pressure and hemodynamic measures. By potentially smoothing these vascular responses, theanine may soften the stimulant experience. However, it is important to note that reducing vascular effects does not automatically translate into better cognitive performance. The benefits of this modulation remain context-dependent and require further investigation. This slide compares caffeine alone to the caffeine plus L-theanine stack across several dimensions. In terms of onset and half-life, caffeine peaks within about half an hour to an hour and has a half-life of 3 to 6 hours. When combined with L-theanine, the onset is similar, but the subjective feel may be smoother because theanine dampens the jittery edge. Energy and feel differ as well. Caffeine alone produces a rapid spike and a noticeable kick, while the stack may provide calmer alertness and curb jitters. Regarding performance evidence, caffeine alone boasts strong support for improving endurance, strength endurance, and power. Evidence for the stack is mixed. Some trials note attention benefits, whereas others show no additional advantage. Side effects also diverge. Caffeine can cause jitteriness, anxiety, gastrointestinal upset, and sleep disruption. The stack may blunt some of these effects, but does not eliminate them entirely. Habituation occurs quickly with caffeine, whereas data on tolerance to the combination or to theanine alone are limited. Best use cases reflect these differences. Caffeine is a reliable pre-workout and cognitive boost, whereas the stack may be more useful for focus-heavy tasks and for individuals sensitive to caffeine stimulant qualities. When incorporating these stimulants, proper dosing is crucial. Most athletes respond well to caffeine doses between 2 and 6 milligrams per kilogram of body mass. If you are sensitive or new to caffeine, start at the lower end of this range and adjust only if needed. L-theanine supplements typically provide between 100 and 200 milligrams per serving, while natural tea contains about 10 to 25 milligrams per cup. A common ratio in supplements is 2 parts theanine to 1 part caffeine, such as 200 milligrams of theanine with 100 milligrams of caffeine. Start with a modest dose and observe how your focus and jitters change before increasing the amount. Timing your intake can influence how you experience the combination. For exercise, caffeine is often taken 30 to 60 minutes before your session. Since L-theanine is not a stimulant, taking it at the same time does not delay caffeine's absorption, but may extend the subjective feel of focus. Experiment with timing during your training sessions to fine-tune your personal response. Avoid using the stack late in the day because the stimulant effect from caffeine can interfere with sleep, and adding theanine may not be enough to counteract that. Always test new protocols during practice rather than on competition day. The combination of caffeine and L-theanine may benefit individuals who are sensitive to caffeine's jittery side effects, yet still want sharper focus and sustained energy. Students, gamers, and professionals engaged in long, concentration-heavy tasks might find the calm alertness useful. Athletes who rely on caffeine for training and competition but want to soften the associated anxiety or vascular effects could also experiment with adding theanine. It is important to remember that responses vary, so what works for one person may not work for another. Not everyone will gain from stacking these compounds. Athletes seeking maximal stimulation and power may prefer caffeine alone, which already provides well-documented performance benefits. Those who train late in the day or struggle with sleep should be cautious. Even though theanine may reduce jitteriness, the stimulant effect of caffeine can still disrupt rest. Individuals with a high tolerance for caffeine who require substantial amounts to feel an effect may not notice much difference with theanine added to low doses. In these cases, sticking with a proven caffeine protocol might be more effective. A sensible approach to these stimulants emphasizes moderation and testing. Start with caffeine around 2 milligrams per kilogram of body mass and scale up only if necessary. If you find you are sensitive to caffeine side effects, consider adding L-theanine at a dose between 100 and 200 milligrams. Always test the combination during non-critical training sessions to see how it affects your focus, energy, and tolerance. Avoid stacking multiple stimulant products simultaneously, and protect your sleep by restricting late-day intake. Adjust the timing and dosage according to your individual response. Safety should always take precedence when experimenting with any stimulant stack. Avoid combining multiple high-stimulant products such as energy drinks, pre-workouts, and large cups of coffee, as this can inadvertently push your caffeine intake beyond safe levels. People with anxiety, high blood pressure, irregular heart rhythms, pregnancy, or sleep disorders should approach stimulants with caution or avoid them altogether. If you are taking medication or managing cardiovascular conditions, consult a healthcare professional before using a caffeine and theanine stack. Listening to your body and erring on the side of caution helps prevent adverse effects. Caffeine remains a well-established ergogenic aid that can quickly enhance performance, mood, and focus when used appropriately. L-theanine may offer a smoother, calmer experience and may temper caffeine's effects on blood pressure, but evidence for superior performance is mixed. The combination should not be viewed as a magic solution. Instead, think of L-theanine as a way to improve tolerance and comfort for those who are sensitive to caffeine. If caffeine alone meets your needs, you may not require additional supplementation. Use theanine to fine-tune your experience rather than expecting it to double your focus. In closing, remember that caffeine works well for most people at doses between 2 and 6 milligrams per kilogram, timed about 30 to 60 minutes before activity. L-theanine offers calm alertness at doses around 100 to 200 milligrams and may be particularly helpful if you are prone to caffeine jitters. Claims of dramatically enhanced focus from stacking are context dependent, so consider the combination optional rather than essential. Tailor your intake to your goals and tolerance, and prioritize recovery and sleep when planning your stimulant use.